Freedom Weight Loss, the weight reduction program that allows you to enjoy food even more than before while you shed pounds. Carlos Canale, MD, a board-certified gastroenterologist practicing in California, has discovered that losing weight and keeping it down does not need to be a continuous torture, since there are wonderful principles that will help you to lose weight and maintain optimal health while you become free from obesity, extreme diets, and disease. Now let's listen to Dr. Canale as he teaches how to lose weight with freedom.
We have learned how to eat. That is very important. Now we need to learn how much to eat. The answer is we all eat too much. In the book Medical Ministry I read, often twice as much food as the system needs is eaten. Researchers from the Food and Drug Administration's Center for Toxicological Research in Arkansas suggest that dietary restriction protects DNA molecules from damage. DNA molecules provide the blueprint for replication of our body cells. According to Dr. Angelo Turturro, researcher at the FDA's Center for Toxicological Research, caloric restriction, which means eating less amount of food or calories, is similar to putting the body into a state of deep freeze. Every process in the body slows down, including the rate of aging. What we commonly think of as aging is merely degenerative disease, Turturro commented. Caloric restriction slows down the onset of disease, thus slowing down the aging process. Dr. Roy Walford, a research gerontologist at the UCLA School of Medicine, agrees, and by his experimentation has nearly doubled the lifespan of laboratory mice and notably extended their reproductive lives with a regimen called caloric restriction. He reduced their caloric intake to just half of what they would normally consume with a regular diet. As a result, these mice have been referred to as the Methuselah of rodents, since they are lively and active at the old age of 4 years. Now, men and women are biologically similar to mice, and it is very likely that we also will live longer if we eat less. Freedom weight loss will not only help you to shed pounds, but also will increase your lifespan. Is not that wonderful? I read in the book Counsels on Diet and Foods. Nearly all the members of the human family eat more than the system requires. This excess decays and becomes a putrid mass. Weight gain is not the only disadvantage of overeating. We can learn about some of them in the book Counsels on Diet and Foods. First, overeating will cause discomfort and sickness. I read, many make themselves uncomfortable by overeating, and sickness is often the result. Yes, maybe you have been bloated or felt uncomfortable after eating. You had indigestion. It is possible that this could have all been solved by eating less. And this is one of the things I hope you will learn from this program. Overeating also can cause forgetfulness and loss of memory. I read, frequently you place in your stomach double the quantity of food your system requires. This is one great cause of your forgetfulness and loss of memory. If you cannot remember even your phone number, maybe you are eating too much. Overeating also decreases efficiency. I read again, overeating is especially harmful to those who are sluggish in temperament. These should eat sparingly and take plenty of physical exercise. There are men and women of excellent natural ability who do not accomplish half what they might if they would exercise self-control in the denial of appetite. Overeating also decreases vitality. I read, when too much food is used, the entire system is burdened. Life and vitality, instead of being increased, are decreased. Man uses up his vital forces in unnecessarily labor in taking care of an excess of food. Another harmful effect of overeating, it clogs the system and burdens the liver. I read, All that is taken into the stomach above that the system can use to convert into good blood clogs the machinery. Its presence burdens the liver. There is a common disease called NASH, or non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. This is a mouthful. Let me explain what it means. Non-alcoholic means that this condition is found in people who do not abuse alcohol. We know that alcoholics get hepatitis and liver damage, but NASH happens to non-alcoholics. Steato means fat, that is, too much fat in the liver, and hepatitis means inflammation of the liver. So, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis or NASH means inflammation and too much fat in the liver of people who are not alcoholic. This disease affects the liver of people who are overweight or have diabetes or both. These are people that eat too much, and many times it results in cirrhosis of the liver and death. Overeating also causes physical and mental weakness. I read, "We eat too much. Indulgence of appetite is the greatest cause of physical and mental weakness and lies at the foundation of a large share of the feebleness which is apparent everywhere." Overeating also causes a weak and tired feeling. If more food, even of a simple quality, is placed in the stomach than the living machinery requires, this surplus becomes a burden. The system makes desperate efforts to dispose of it, and this extra work causes a tired, weary feeling. If you don't have enough energy, maybe you're eating too much. You need to eat less. I have confirmed this in my own experience. For over 20 years, I had a persistent feeling of being tired and not having energy, and I wonder why this would be. Some patients tell me that they do not have the energy they used to have. Many of them are in their 70s and 80s, and sometimes I have a hard time convincing them that their lack of energy is due to their advancing age. But this was not the case with me. I was in my 30s and 40s. I should have been feeling strong. I had blood tests because I thought I may have hepatitis or anemia, but all the blood tests were normal. This went on, as I said, for over 20 years. But when I reduced the amount of food I ate, I suddenly realized that I had a lot of energy. I used to have a hard time getting up at 5 in the morning, and many times I would end up getting up at 6:30 or even 7, with great effort. Now I get up with very little effort at 4:30 or 5 a.m., and sometimes even at 3:30, just because I eat less. Energy increases, vitality increases when you eat less. Overeating also makes people sleepy. Many think they have to have coffee in order to stay awake. What they really need to do is to eat less, especially at night, so you're awake in the morning without drinking coffee. So, if you fall asleep in class or when you're sitting at home, you may be eating too much. Now, let me summarize what we have learned about the harmful effects of overeating. It causes sickness, loss of memory and forgetfulness, decreased efficiency, mental and physical weakness, decreased vitality, clogged machinery, and burdened liver. A tired and feeling and drowsiness, and let us repeat again, even though I have already said it several times, because it is extremely important. What can we do to eat less? Number 1, take small bites. Chew well, eat slowly. Do not drink any beverages with your meals. Then, eat only when you're hungry. Many times we are tempted to eat and we are not hungry. For example, if I would ask you, "Are you hungry right now?" you might say yes, or maybe you're not hungry. If you are not hungry and I place a box of See's candies under your nose with that sweet chocolate smell, you would most likely eat at least one piece or more. Chances are most people would. That is eating without being hungry. In my work as a physician, I have many temptations to eat when I am not hungry. It seems that at the hospital and at the office, there is some sort of celebration going on most of the time. It may be somebody's birthday or somebody's leaving, and there is plenty of food to celebrate. And the temptation is there to eat when one is not hungry. And many fall into that temptation. I have been one of them. And when the holiday season arrives, that seems to start an eruption of food and candy everywhere. And who wants to pass up free goodies? I remember that about 8 or 9 years ago, I gained 15 pounds during the holiday season just by eating free See's candies. That's my favorite kind of candy. Since then, I have decided to give up all chocolate candy because once I have one, I want to have 2 and 3 and 4 and oftentimes 6, and I gain weight without realizing it. If that is also your problem, here is a suggestion. Decide today to never again in your life have chocolate candy. Pretty soon, you will be so used not to have it that you will not even miss it. Just like the cigarette smoker, it is hard to quit smoking, especially during the first days and weeks. But once enough time has passed, the former tobacco addict is completely delivered from this terrible habit and is now free. You can also be free from food addictions. Try it and you will see that it works. So, eat only when you're hungry. You will eat less if you do this, and you will lose weight. When you go to a buffet style restaurant, where you can eat all you want, be extremely careful because you are on dangerous ground. The reason is that most likely you are going to want to get your money's worth and will end up eating too much. The same is true at potluck dinners. So, you should try to avoid those places like the plague. If you have to go to such a place, prepare yourself before entering by deciding that you are going to eat only what your body needs and no more. Do not let the guard down until you are out of the place. Think, if I do not overeat, when I come out, I will feel well and will be free to be thin. What else can be done to eat less? Decrease the size of your portions. Measure how much to eat and plan on eating no more. Let me explain. Let's say that eating a regular plate of brown rice will satisfy you. Make sure that you don't eat more than that. Maybe you're invited to a place where there is food on the table and there are 2, 3 or many kinds of food. Eat only that what you need. Fill your plate and say, I will not eat any more than this. That way you will eat less. And when you have done it, get up and go for a walk. Do not linger around the table. You will be tempted to eat more than you need. Another suggestion. Get out of what I call the clean plate club. Do you need to finish what you have on your plate? Your mother taught you maybe that you must clean up your plate. Didn't she? Was your mother right? Many mothers teach their children to overeat by making them clean up their plates. Why? Because many times children eat between meals and then, when it's time to eat, they are not hungry. But mama wants the child to eat enough and forces him to eat beyond his natural hunger. And the child learns to overeat. If children would not eat anything between meals, they would have a great appetite at mealtime and would easily eat what is on the plate. In any case, do not force your children or yourself to clean up the plate. If you do so, you will all be on the road to obesity without suspecting it. So, don't eat between meals. And when it is time to eat, eat only what your body needs until you're not hungry anymore, until you're satisfied. But do not clean up the plate. Even if there is one ravioli left in the dish, do not eat it. Better thrown in the garbage than in your stomach. If in spite of all this, you insist on cleaning up your plate, put very little food on your plate, then finish it up. And if you're still hungry, go and get a small second serving, and you will not be compelled to eat without being hungry. There is something else you can do to eat less, which is very helpful. It is called fasting. You can fast once a week, you can fast twice a week. You're free to decide what works for you. To most people, fasting means not eating anything at all. But is that true? Do you have to abstain completely from food when you fast? Not necessarily. That would be an absolute fast, when you only drink water and don't eat any food. But you can also have a partial fast, such as a fruit fast, for example, when you eat only fruit for one whole day, or maybe for one meal. Eat only fruit, fresh fruit, without sugar added. A fresh fruit fast is low in calories and will help you lose weight if you're stuck. Sometimes people lose 20 or 30 pounds and then they seem to be unable to lose any more. Fasting once or twice a week will help you to keep losing more weight. You could have a set day of the week when you eat nothing, or only fruit or only vegetables. Or you could fast once a month, or skip one meal twice a week. Set up a schedule and stick to it until it becomes a habit, and it will not be difficult once the habit is firmly established. You may even look forward to your day of fasting. There are many ways you can do this. Use your imagination. This program is not a rigid program. This plan gives you freedom. You can adapt it to your needs and even make it work to make your life easier. For example, if you're out shopping and you don't have a lot of time, instead of going to a fast food restaurant and swallowing up all those calories, just say, "Today I will skip supper." You will have saved money by not eating out and have more time and money to shop. Freedom's Way does not just help you to lose weight, but it can also save you time and money. Is not that awesome? Now, fasting while you are out shopping is just an idea. There are many more possibilities, many more ideas that can help you to eat less. I do not have time in this presentation to tell you about all the possibilities. You need to use your imagination. Think, what could I do that would help me to eat less? Another advantage of fasting is that it will help you to relish wholesome food. Most people enjoy only food that is fattening. Does that happen to you? Well, something that will help you to change that is fasting. Fasting will be of help in training your taste buds, which is another important item of the program to lose weight the natural way. The design of our taste buds is very clever. Scientists have been learning about these miniature marvels for a long time, and there is a lot to learn. And you know what? Taste buds are retrainable. That means you can stop liking what you like now and begin to like something different. I read from the book Counsels on Diet and Food. Persons who have indulged their appetite to eat freely of meat, highly seasoned gravies, and various kinds of rich cakes and preserves cannot immediately enjoy a plain, wholesome, and nutritious diet. Their taste is so perverted they have no appetite for a wholesome diet of fruits, plain bread, and vegetables. They need not expect to relish at first food so different from that which they have been indulging themselves to eat. If they cannot at first enjoy plain food, they should fast until they can. That fast will provide to them of greater benefit than medicine, for the abused stomach will find that rest which it has long needed, and real hunger can be satisfied with a plain diet. It will take time for taste to recover from the abuses which it has received, and to gain its natural tone. But perseverance in a self-denying course of eating and drinking soon will make plain, wholesome food palatable, and it will soon be eaten with greater satisfaction than most people eat the rich diet. We can be thankful for this. Yes, it will involve some sacrifice at the beginning. You will have to do without those foods that you have liked and enjoyed for so long. But you may be certain that if you persist in denying yourself of those foods and beverages that are fattening, you will after some time enjoy wholesome food. You will enjoy low-calorie food. You will enjoy fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, rice, potatoes without so much high-calorie gravy and sour cream, etc. And the greatest thing is that you will soon be eating with more satisfaction than most people who enjoy junk food. You will enjoy low-calorie food better than you now enjoy high-calorie, fattening, fast food, sweets, greasy food, chocolate, etc. Now, you might say that it is difficult, that it involves a sacrifice. Yes, it does, initially. But listen to this. A professor years ago announced in class that the course they were sitting in was one of the most difficult in the whole curriculum. But he then went on to give them the recipe for success. Those who will succeed, he proposed, would be willing to sacrifice present pleasure for future gains. Of course, referring to their completing the homework assignments instead of getting some temporary pleasure in goofing off. Have you noticed that sign they sometimes put on buildings when they are remodeling? Temporary inconvenience, permanent improvement. That is exactly how this works. The same way as when you quit smoking. Temporary inconvenience, permanent improvement. Presently, you enjoy food that happens to make you fat. If you deny yourself persistently of that kind of food, you will eventually develop a taste for food that is healthy and that is low in calories and not fattening. But you have to be consistent. You have to deny yourself of those foods that are fattening permanently, and your taste buds will change forever, and you will lose weight naturally and permanently. For example, say to yourself, I'm never in my life going to have a chocolate candy again. I did that just several years ago, and I can tell you, I do not miss chocolate candy, and I enjoy other things like a ripe mango more than I used to enjoy chocolate. Now you might tell me, that is unreal. It cannot be. I won't argue with you. Just try it for yourself, and you will find out that it is very, very real, and it works. Freedom's way is not unreal. Training your taste buds is very real. It involves a little sacrifice when you are starting, yes, but remember, temporary inconvenience, permanent improvement. The benefits in weight loss will be permanent, but not so the sacrifice. People will do almost anything to lose weight. A little effort will be repaid greatly. Or do you prefer to go through what Lisa went through? Lisa was a marketing specialist for a brokerage firm in Florida, aged 26. She tried the Jenny Craig diet and the gym. She was doing pretty well. She lost 35 pounds, and in 1998 she started dating. Her mother said that Linda was starting to feel good about herself. However, she became fearful that she would gain back the pounds she had lost and began to take an herbal supplement containing the chemical ephedrine, a stimulant similar to amphetamine. One day, her parents called her condo and there was no answer. John, her father, went to the house at about 10 p.m. and heard the dog barking and the TV on. He thought she must have been in the shower and went back home. The next day, after she failed to go to work, John returned and found her daughter dead on the floor. She had a banana in her hand. There was a cup of tea on the stove, and blood was running from her mouth. The autopsy report showed that her left coronary artery was occluded. There was ephedrine in her blood from a supplement containing ephedra, a federally unregulated herb about which the FDA has received hundreds of reports of illnesses and which has been linked to more than a dozen deaths. How sad. Lisa had lost weight with diet and exercise. She had done it the natural way, even though probably she did not know that. But she was fearful that she was going to regain her weight, and that fear caused her death. Freedom's way takes away pounds and fear. You will lose weight permanently, and you will not need to be fearful that you will regain it, because you have changed habits. You have made permanent changes. The fear is gone. The frustration is gone forever. Now we know how much to eat. In the next section, we will learn when to eat and what to eat.
We've reached the end of this segment of Freedom Weight Loss with Carlos Canale, MD. In order to receive all the benefits of the program, you will have to view it more than once, most likely several times, and then continue to watch it periodically. This way, you will grasp the concepts gradually, one by one, at your own rhythm. We hope that you will find in Freedom Weight Loss the best way to lose weight permanently. We wish you success as you advance on the way that leads to health and happiness. Perhaps you feel the need for more help. You can get books, audio or video cassettes, valuable books on nutrition, health, or cookbooks. Or you may be interested in helpful kitchen appliances that will assist you to cook healthfully. You might be looking for an effective and fun way to exercise, like the famous Rebound Air. Or you might be looking for healthy recipes or other healthy information. You can find all this and more on Dr. Canale's website, www.freedomweightloss.com. Or you can write to Freedom Weight Loss, P.O. Box 550, Denair, California 95316, or call 1-888-463-0264. Thank you, and may your efforts be rewarded with happiness and success.